Please hold the line. Please hold the line.
Hello, I'm Krista Hart and welcome to Roadtest, the show that is to technology what Jeffrey Archer is to the literary world. Now, over the next half hour, we'll be watching three viewers putting some fun products through the mill and telling us what they found. But first, we have to greet our regular panel of experts who, if they can stay focused long enough, will give us their surreal insights on many far-flung technologies, or not, as the case may be. First, we have technology broadcaster Bob Tomowski and technology editor of Red Magazine Liz Bailey with columnist Steve Shipside. So, on to our first road tester who has a baby in view.
Hi, my name's Carla. I live in South Normanton, Derbyshire. I work at Donington Park Racetrack for a car auction company, and my hobbies are gardening, cookery, horse riding and my family. I wanted to test a video recorder so that I could take films of my family and my young son.
Well, we thought long and hard as to what to give Carla, and in the end we thought we'd let her have the best of both worlds and get her to try a digital camcorder that also takes stills. It's by JVC and costs £1,300. So let's see if baby Lewis was ready for his close-up.
I've been testing the JVC digital video camera. It costs around £1,300. Comes with lots of manuals on your guarantee, a CD for loading into your PC, a docking station which the video recorder actually sits on top. There's a whole load of cables for printers and that's your charger for your battery, a little remote control, and they even send the batteries to go in that. The one thing it didn't seem to come with was a lens cover. I've been using it to video the family and take photographs of the family. It takes videos and it also takes still photographs. The JVC has got both functions combined, but it does have a lot more features. Unfortunately, that does seem to make it a lot more difficult to use. I've used digital still camera at work, and at home I've used just an ordinary camcorder. This is great because it combines both functions. It sits quite snugly in your hand and your thumb's just close to the buttons here. There's your start and stop button for videoing, alongside your little button for panning in and out. Here we've got the LCD display. Use that instead of the viewfinder. The viewfinder's up here and that just pops out if you're using that. First impressions were good. It came with a lot of gadgets. It looks quite cool, it's nice and compact. I didn't find it that easy to use. I got it out of the box and wanted to use it, but found that I needed to refer to the manual straight away. The easiest thing was learning how to take the digital stills. The hardest thing was remembering to turn the dial so you were able to take video. I think it's probably aimed at somebody that wants to make home movies but make them look a lot more professional. If I was going to change anything, for me, I think I'd take away some of the features. I'd like it to be simplified a bit more so that I could just take videos or the stills without all the fancy framework, etc. My favourite feature is the LCD screen, which means you don't have to use the viewfinder while you make your films. I do feel that it's overcomplicated and you can't just pick it up and use it, you do need to use the manual.
Well, are these multifunctional even cameras really worth the money? What do you think, Bob?
I think probably they are. Let's look at this camera. It really is a bit of a mixture. One point that's very good that our tester said was that it doesn't come with a lens cap. Instead, it has this filter which you fit onto the front to protect the lens. Past JVC camcorders were very different. They had a built-in shutter, which meant that you didn't have to worry about lens caps. Now they've gone to putting this sort of filter thing on the front.
What do you think of it?
Well, I think that's a fair point. I think if they're going to do it this way, there should be a plastic lens cap or a shutter or something, just to protect the lens. If we actually look above the lens, well, there's a little flash tube here, so when you're using it in still mode, you can use it, you know, with flash, which I think is quite a good point as well. About it being complicated, well, not really. If we actually turn the camera around and look at this switch, it's got a fully auto button. We might call it an autopilot. Put it to A, switch it to video, and it records completely automatically.
So do you think the fact that she didn't find it was probably a fault of the manual?
Indeed so, and that's a very good point, and I've always found that JVC instruction books could be better. Then let's also look at this side here. If you want to use it as a still camera, well, images are stored on this little microchip here, which is called an MMC card. All very well, but of all the flash memory cards, it's the least popular. So if you go around the shops trying to buy another one of these cards, you may have some difficulties. So that's a down point. But overall, I think it's quite a good product. It gives very good results. It uses what's called a progressive scan chip for capturing still images, and that means that the picture quality can be as good as, if you like, mid-range normal still video cameras. Put it all together, it's got a digital video output for editing on a PC or something. I think it's quite good.
How does it compare, do you think, Liz, to other products on the market?
It does look a little bit clunky. Having seen at least one, well, Sony makes one that they say is the smallest in the world, and I feel free to take their word for that, which is much, much smaller, which is really not much bigger than just the screen and a folded camera.
And that doesn't
compromise
the
this is actually
quality.
very, very heavy. No, I mean, it's an extremely high quality camera. It also is not inexpensive, and this camera is fairly expensive.
Now, we had an email from a viewer, David Brown, who wanted to know about using the editing on his PC from something like this. Is that fairly straightforward?
Yes, it is. If we actually look at the front, there's a little compartment that opens up, and here you've got a socket, a USB connector for getting still pictures to the PC. You've also got another connector for digital in-out, like iLink, that sort of thing. So it's quite easy to get the images from the digital domain here over to the PC digitally. From there on, you have to use an editing package to edit the pictures.
So do you think there's any benefit in having the stills and the video on one machine?
I think that's the case again. It's because the technology is there for the stills to be done. It was just a no-brainer for them to put it in. In fact, it's quite a chunky package as a stills digital camera. I'd just like to add to what Bob was saying. Yes, it is very easy to stream this information down into a computer, as long as it itself is video enabled. So a lot of them are these days. Almost all of them are, and the higher end ones always will be. But some of them actually aren't. And once you've got it in, you then need video editing software. And at that point, that's where these things really come into their own, because the lady in the video is actually quite right. This is really going for the semi-pro area. I know people who put together elements of documentaries on this. With
so if you're not a pro, you need to check what software you've got, what your computer can cope with before you go and buy something like
Definitely,
this.
yes.
Well, let's find out our tester's verdict.
At £1,300, I feel it is quite good value for money because it's got a lot of features on it, but the features do make it difficult to use. I wouldn't go out and buy it because I felt it was quite difficult to use. If you're into taking more professional looking videos, then it's probably great for you, but personally, I'm going to have to give it a thumbs down.
Oh dear, and don't forget, if there's a group of you and you want to be road testers, then get in touch. The more interesting the device you ask for, the more chance you have of being invited on the show. Details at the end of the programme.